How we doing, everyone? And welcome back to another edition of NASCAR's DFS Pick Show. I am your host, TK Nation 47, joined by Mega Ruler 31. Mega, this is Nashville. We haven't been here in a long time. How did everything wrap up for you last weekend? And are you excited for a little bit of the Music City?
Well, had a great truck race, had a great Xfinity race. I want to talk about that NASCAR garbage. That I didn't like that form. It was exciting to watch, but for DFS purposes, it was garbage. But
yeah,
anyways, we've got a unique challenge here. We were trying to figure out, could we do a video? So this isn't going to be our normal video because we don't know where they're starting, because they actually have practice, they actually have qualifying, and it's going to be right before lock. So that's pretty much a good value to join our Discord and join our premium, because you'll have us for cores and advice and everything right up to locked when you only have about an hour to figure it out. But we're going to do our best to try to go over the field and kind of like what we have. People thought it worked out really well. The last one that we had before we had practice and qualifying, was it the road course? I can't remember which one it was, but I pretty much,
it was the Circuit to Americas, I believe.
Right. Whatever.
I think. I'm not sure.
We did the shows based on my model, which is up on the screen right now. And basically, I just took average running positions from similar tracks and came up with a composite speed score. And then we kind of ranked that as their starting position, just as a for instance. And I think we're going to do that again here and just see like what pops. And of course, this could be completely wrong, when they really get out there and race. Or I haven't looked at the forecast. Like last time we went through all this like projection model to try to figure out how the race was going to play out potentially for starting order, and it rained and it didn't matter because it was the normal anyways. So who knows? But I think we need to start talking about this track if you're ready for that.
Yes, NASCAR has not raced here since I believe 2000 and was it?
I haven't seen
11.
Yeah, 2011 was the last truck race that was here. And let me just, I have it pulled up here. Okay, so
fire away.
It was in 2011, and it was a pretty clean race. There was only 3 cautions for, I think, about, it says 7.1% of the laps. So it was, one was debris, 2 were debris, and 1 was actually a spin out. There were really no wrecks. There were 43 trucks in this race, and only 30 of them finished the race without any wrecks. We had clutches, we had overheating, we had vibrations, we had fuel pumps, transmissions, brakes, alternators. They needed like pet boys at this track. This was horrible. But it's a concrete track. It's a really old track. So it's a 1.5 mile track. So it's very much similar to Darlington and Dover. It's unique, but those would be the closest things to compare it to with the tire wear of Atlanta. So
right.
It's going to take some skill like it does to drive at Darlington, but it's also going to take some strategy like the tire wear that Atlanta has. I don't know how many grooves it has, if this is like a Tyler Reddick track. Hopefully, by the time we get to the Cup video, we'll have more information on that. But just looking through this field from last time, like you had Carl Edwards, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Austin Dillon, Allgaier, Almirola. I don't see any current truck guys. Kozlowski was there, Annette, some old school guys like Sam Hornish Jr., Jennifer Joe Cobb was there. She actually started 40th, finished 29th. She was the last truck to actually finish the race. Elliott Sadler, Morgan Shepherd, the Ageless Wonder, Carl Law.
Jesus.
Yeah, so Mike Harmon, isn't he a crew chief now?
He is a team owner.
Okay. Oh, look, he owned his own truck then too.
I had a feeling that's what I was heading.
I think the takeaway from this is, if I look at the top 5 here, they started 3rd, 6th, 4th, 16th, 12th, and 8th. So it doesn't look like a lot of the back of the field ended up like close to the front, and it looked like there was very few cautions here too. So that probably, this is back before they had the complication caution. I don't believe they had that back. This is before they had stages. So this is when they just actually raced.
So this sounds like a little bit like Dover with the concrete track. I know Dover has a little bit of paved turns, but they have concrete straightaways, and it maybe just like a hybrid of Dover and Atlanta.
And looking at like laps led, Carl Edwards led 124 laps. Brad Keselowski led 89 laps, and then Austin Dillon led 9 laps, and there's like a couple other guys that had like 1 or 2 laps. So it looks like pretty much a dominator race here too.
So I think practice is going to be more critical to our constructions and stuff like that. Obviously, I mean, you qualify where you qualify, but how these guys race this track in practice is probably going to be the biggest indicator, I think, in the next 3 races. You know, where guys are taking their lines, who's fast where. There's going to be a new track for a lot of people, so I think we're all kind of expecting, you know, maybe there's a random Kevin Harvick, you know, and guys like him, and maybe like David Gilliland, or, you know, who do we have here that's old? Matt Crafton might have some laps on this track, but I think this is going to be pretty much new.
You know who surprised me? They actually had Clay Greenfield, actually, out of all the guys here. Yeah.
Huh. So yeah, I from the gist of it though is that this is going to be a new track for a lot of people. So practice is probably the bigger indicator on how the race, or who's going to be fast and who's going to be able to race this track well. And I heard it's a little bumpy, which reminds me of, you know, Atlanta with some of the bumps and stuff. So tire wear is going to be pretty critical. So if we want to look,
would practice like 5 and 10 lap averages we want to look at too.
That's going to be huge. Yeah. But like you said earlier at the start of that was, you know, we're going to just break down the field. We're going to give you guys we think are going to be good at this track and who we are looking to from some past speeds. So let's get that started. Let's talk about the guy that is pretty much running away with this series, and that is John Hunter Nemechek. I'm assuming something like the pole. If, you know, qualifying gets rained out, he certainly will have the pole no matter what. But I'm assuming he starts inside the top 5, and it doesn't matter where he starts. I think he's a play.
Yeah, I mean, look at his average running position at these tracks, 3.8. You know, his lowest one was Darlington, but Atlanta, he did really well here. He's just on fire, definitely. If he doesn't get the pole, I'll be surprised. There are 2 Cup guys in here, actually 3 Cup guys, Ryan Preece, William Byron, and Ross Chastain. So any one of them could potentially get the pole. So at the worst, I think he would start would be 4th or 5th.
Right.
But anyways, I think he can get up there and definitely lead here and dominate. So I think cash games, lock him in.
Yep.
No matter where he starts. If he starts lower down, then you know he's just going to get place differential. So just lock him in, GPP, fade him, because he'll have such high ownership in cash that'll give you leverage. But cash play.
It's the easiest pick of the slate. You know, that's just what he is. The easiest pick of the slate. You know what you're going to get. And if you think he can, in case he gets wrecked out, that's like your only way of stopping him. I think that's the best way to put it. Next up, we have William Byron in the 27 Rackley War Machine. Any thoughts on William Byron at 9,800?
I definitely like this here. This Rackley War program, this is a second truck that they added. They had enough funding to do 2 trucks here. And when I looked it up and saw who the owner was of the truck, like I didn't recognize it as being Rackley. It's Willie Allen. And Willie Allen was actually a successful NASCAR driver himself, and he's from this area.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. Yep.
Yeah, so this is a local truck. And the other one, Josh Berry is in. It's a 25, and it's been okay this year. So I think this is a pretty solid ride for William Byron to come. He's having a top 5 Cup season right now. So
Yep.
he's got good equipment. He's a good driver. I think he's going to get a little bit of practice in here. But I don't think Cup practices before this truck race. I think they practice. Let me just look at the schedule.
I think they don't touch the track till Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought that's what I saw.
Just because if they have like practice before.
Oh, he would get the eyes of the truck.
Right.
Yeah, Eric, he would get the.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think Rackley War Machine is going to be in a good spot. You know, they like you beat me to it. They are from the area. That's how they were able to get us. You know, they put their. I have a feeling they put their eggs in this basket because I think they know this track, and they feel like they have an advantage knowing this track being local. And I think they've been preparing for this day for a long time. They got a guy from, you know, their Chevrolet manufacturing affiliations, and I think, you know, when that happens, they bring some money down and they help out. So Rackley is going to have good cars here for Josh Berry and William Byron. I expect both to do well. I do expect both to qualify pretty well, but you know, as you said, a lot of the guys that finished inside the top 5 were guys that qualified inside the top 20. So if they even do qualify pretty high up, I still expect to own them in some facet of my builds. You know, 9,800 is not too expensive. I think you're able to fit Nemechek and Byron in your lineups. Josh Berry's criminally cheap. If we want to just skip ahead to him at 8,300, I think both drivers are well within your cash builds in case, you know, they do.
I like Josh Berry start like 10th to 15th. I'd like a little place differential there because I don't know if he can get up and lead this with some of the other guys there too.
Right.
What about with like Byron is the nice thing about this is all 3 series are at the same track. So you think his crew chief's going to maybe like meander on into the garage where I know he's got his responsibilities with the Cup car and everything like that, but there's got to be some free time. I'm sure he's given like them some tips on like setups and stuff like that. And he's been awesome as a crew chief in Cup. So I'm sure there's some advising going on there too. So I think it's a great situation. You're spot on there.
Great spot here for William Byron and Josh Berry. Next up, we have Sheldon Creed in the GMS Racing. Shout out to you last week, nailing it. I think we both were on the same page here with Creed. Being a not so good play, the GMS Racing has not been that good this year, and Sheldon Creed has been lacking, and I think we've been playing the fade right, and I think I'm going to continue to do so, especially if he qualifies pretty high up.
Yeah, but the only thing with Creed is like I played him last week in GPP and like
told you not to.
I know. But it was GPP. It was only one line. It was like
fair
$4 or something like that. I had to take a shot. He was the salary I landed on. He was the last guy in. So
all right.
I don't know. Like he wants to compete for a championship. So I think that he can fight to get up there to lead, to try to win a stage or so. So I think the win's not in the cards, but I think getting up there, again, it all depends on how he qualifies. But like we said, these GMS trucks, most of them don't have sponsors. We don't think they have the money for the program. So they're cutting corners. He's been out, he wrecked, right? So like, did they fully repair the truck? Did they have enough money to put the truck back together? Or is it together with bubble gum, duct tape, and Band-Aids and rubber bands, so.
This team is struggling. I think they're going to have to chop one of these cars or one of these trucks next year. And I'm just going to continue to fade Sheldon Creed. I just don't think they have it together this year. Next up, we have Todd Gilliland, Front Row Motorsports, 8,600. Not a bad price tag for a guy that's not having a bad season.
Yeah, not true. He's not in the.
This is all about where he qualifies.
Right. And he's one that could completely blow it and end up in the 20s and be great for place differential. So
exactly,
I
the
think he's got a
8,600
top.
price tag's enticing.
Yeah, he's not great at this type of track, even though like it's got him up there fourth with the composite, but he's just really good at Darlington.
Yeah,
Atlanta, he struggled though. His average running position was
he
17th.
did.
That's a mild concern. But I think if he qualifies somewhere between 15 and 20, I think I'd consider him.
That's exactly where I was going with that. Perfectly said. 8,600. I like that. Matt Crafton at 10K. I think Thor Sport is. Oh, I skipped one. Sorry. Austin Hill in the Tory Enterprises.
Just how much you like him.
No, I do. I actually do like Austin Hill. I think he's been racing pretty well lately at 10K. I think I would play him over Creed. And I think if I were to build a second dominator opposite or outside of John Hunter Nemechek, I think it would be Austin Hill. I think their teams had some speed.
He's like always where you start your GPP lineup because he never makes sense in cash, but he's so super talented. You know he's eventually gonna like.
He's always low owned because everyone's got Hunter Nemechek.
Like Justin Allgaier, kind of an Xfinity.
Yeah, exactly. We've been playing Allgaier, and we're going to be talking about him tomorrow. Don't you worry. We've been playing Allgaier, in these 1.5 mile setups, and I think Austin Hill and that team have a really good truck for this type of track and these type of events. I like him, and I think he's going to be my second dominator outside of Nemechek. He's going to be in Nemechek lineups with a potential to win at the end or dominate outside of him, or he's going to be in the ones where I don't have Nemechek. So that's kind of like where my 20 entry max is heading tomorrow. But so I like it. I'm all in. Not all in, but I'm in on Austin Hill. Your thoughts? You in?
Yeah, like I said, he'll probably be the first one in my GPP lineup, no matter where he starts. But I don't think I'm playing him in cash.
Of course, I agree.
Unless for some reason he blows a tire and ends up like 35th starting position, and it's just as if you don't play him in cash, you just need to quit DFS.
Exactly. I mean, most of the guys we're talking about here in this pocket of the top 15. Just full disclaimer that the top 15 drivers that we're talking about right now, that are this is probably sorted by, I don't know. What do you have it sorted by?
Their composites.
Their composite speeds.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, most of these really fast drivers, if they start in the back, we're probably going to play them. Even if Sheldon Creed starts in the back, you just have to play that. Him in the instance that, hey, they blew a tire, and like he just said. So yeah, for the majority of these guys, yeah, if they start in the far back, we'll have to play them. So if you want to, you get into that Discord, you're going to be able to get core plays and in this updated sheet heading into tomorrow's race. It's going to be really helpful. I'm looking forward to this race. Matt Crafton, I like Thor Sport right now. They seem to be heating up. 8,800. I think they have a good shot. I don't mind them.
The only thing that concerns me with Crafton is he's been around a while, so he might have raced here before.
He probably did, yeah.
But Atlanta 6th, Phoenix 4.6. But then like later on in the season, like he started out strong, but now he's just kind of faded back. And at Darlington, he was 10th, and at Kansas, which is the first speed column, which is one of the most recent tracks that they did, at a 1.5 mile, was 13. So he's not as good as he was in the beginning of the season. I don't know why. But
he's the one of Thor Sport that's had some bad luck, but okay. I'm not afraid to go back to the well, especially if he has a good starting position.
Okay.
I do think though, if he does start inside the top 5 tomorrow, that I would be out.
Okay.
So like he has like a bottom line. Like if he's starting anywhere higher than probably 7th, I'm out. But if he's starting in between, 8th and 16, I'm going to probably try to take him with that price tag at 8,800 for some place differential, because I do think he can finish inside the top 10. I do like that upside.
I look at the guy next to him for $400 more. And again, we don't know where they're really starting, but I think Rhodes is such a better play.
I would agree. I would definitely agree. Ben Rhodes won a couple of races earlier in the year. He still has that ability to lead laps as well. He does that, have that fast truck. So I agree. Ben Rhodes, better play than Crafton. I do think he can qualify pretty high. He's a veteran driver as well. He might have some laps on this track in the past. So I'm good with Ben. I agree. Zane Smith, GMS, 9,600 total fed.
Yeah, price is too high. He's run a lot of fast laps recently, so that's something to consider. But yeah, I just
9,600.
Is he like the orange truck?
Yeah,
No.
I think so.
There's that one orange truck that always seems like it's
wait.
wrecking.
That's Ankrum.
Okay,
that's Ankrum. Yeah, it's his teammate.
okay.
GMS guys, get jump on this with us. GMS is struggling.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say
it. All right, we have Stuart Friesen, the Hallmark Friesen Racing Team, 8,400. They've been okay. They qualify terrible all the time. Guarantee you this team's going to qualify in the 20s tomorrow, and we're probably gonna have to play him at his price tag, 8,400. I guarantee it. This happens all the time. He qualifies so bad.
Yeah.
But they have such good racing setups that they always finish ahead of where they started.
Look at all the broken trucks, though. Do you think his team is, if he's got the equipment to make it through the whole race? I mean, it's only 50 laps. It's not like
right. No, but then you bring up a good point with especially how you started the show with talking about how only 10 or we had 10 to 12 cars not finish the race because of mechanical issues. I think that's something to be said about that. Friesen does drive the wheels off that truck too. So, never know how many tires he could blow. But I don't mind it. I just know he's gonna be a guy I end up rostering because he's starting 24th or something silly like that. And I'm like, oh, Stuart Friesen, decent small team. I'm gonna have to play him starting in the 20s at 8,400. So I'll probably be the sucker that gets caught in that situation. Next up we have Josh Berry.
We're already much talking about him.
We love the Barry Byram's team duo this week. Next up, we have another Cup driver racing for David Gilliland. That is Ryan Preece, 9K. I don't think that's too expensive. Your thoughts?
No, he's efficiently priced here. Like Preece is an adequate driver. Like he's usually a value play that we love to play in Cup because he can punch above his weight class. Like if he starts 25th, he can end there or get up, 5 places, maybe up to the top 15. He's not in great equipment in Cup, and he's against great competition. Here you've got him in Gillian's average.
They're okay.
Yeah, they're okay. So his talent's definitely better than probably 2/3 of the field.
Yeah.
So I think this will show us a lot about like who he really is. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it for Preece. I think he's going to be a guy I roster tomorrow, pending starting position. He's got a bottom line too. If he's starting too high, I might not be in on Preece. Ty Majeski,
love him.
Is he racing for Thor Motorsports? Thor It might be a typo. I thought he had his.
Let me just confirm it.
I thought he was in like Hattori.
Let's see here.
With the 66.
Yeah, that might have, like the columns might not have added up or something. We'll confirm. Yeah, he's a Toyota. It's not.
It might have been just like you saw Toyota.
Oh, Duke Thorson is the.
Oh wow.
Is the owner. So it is in a Thor truck.
Interesting. 7,100. I don't mind that. I think he's going to be a victim of starting too high, though. That team typically does qualify pretty well. Or maybe because.
Yeah, he's just coming back from I think, didn't he have COVID or something? That's why he hasn't raced much this year. But he had a great season last year. He was a budding star.
I'm not really sure where he has been, but I do know he's always a guy that we roster, and I'm not going to stop.
He's one that wasn't he into iRacing, so he's probably played this on his Nintendo 64 or whatever they play, Switch or whatever. Like, so he's
That's
probably
funny.
virtually seen this track a couple times.
Ty Majesty 7100. Look out for the name.
He finished like what, wasn't it like seventh a couple of races ago? So
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
at 71, I love the price. I think,
Let's just hope we get a good starting spot.
yeah, if he gets a good starting spot, he is one of my value play locks. Definitely love him.
Agreed. Grant Enfinger, another Thor Sport truck here, 9,400. I played a little bit of Grant starting in like the 18th position last week. I'm not sure. I can't remember how he finished, so he must not have finished well. But any thoughts on Grant Enfinger?
I think he can get a top 10. And all depends on where he starts. So
Yeah,
I think you're gonna play one Thor truck. I think you just play the Thor truck that starts the lowest.
yeah.
But
And the cool thing about
he's the meat of the sandwich. I think it goes Rhodes and Finger Crafton.
yeah, the thing about Thor Sport though is that each of these drivers has the ability to win though. I just don't have that
Right.
faith in any of the GMS trucks.
True.
Maybe Sheldon Creed last year, but this year it's just a different story. That's why
Right.
I like the Thor Sport trucks, because they're guys that kind of just miraculously appear at the end of the race, and that's kind of what I want with a smaller team like this that's going up against the John Hunter Nemecheks and the random one-off Austin Hill dominations. Then you have your Cup guys. Well, you need a one-off team here, and I've been picking Thor Sport, and it's been working. Johnny Sauter.
Yeah,
Or
unfortunately,
Ross,
they weren't around back the last time that they raced. It was all like Roush and Penske, and yeah.
you're right. Childress probably had a lot of trucks in there too. Any thoughts on Ross Chastain? Pretty much been poking at him throughout, but 10-2
I think
Nice Motorsports. That's a pretty high price tag.
right. It all depends on where he starts. And the reason that my model has him starting like 14 is because in truck races, he's only finished like 2/3 of the races. So I don't know if it's mechanical problems or he's a very aggressive driver. And I don't know if that bodes well on this track. You might need to like keep it in check a little bit or wear out your tires completely. So
Yeah.
they get less tires here than they do in Cup. I think they only get like 3-4 sets. So there's some times where there have been some races where these drivers are really struggling towards the end just because their tires are all worn down and they can't do anything.
I think pending a starting position, I'm going to be higher on Byron and Barry.
Yeah.
And even maybe one of the Thor Sport guys, but certainly not a
He
truck.
did great last week. Didn't he finish like third? Wasn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say he's not a truck I'm going to ignore.
Yeah.
I just think the boomer bust potential could be deadly to a 20 entry max. So maybe I'm going to go lighter to the field on Chastain and pray it works.
Yeah.
Johnny Sauter, another truck, 13, 7,700, not too bad, but kind of losing it. Kind of losing his abilities.
Yeah, he's like a Ryan Newman, maybe.
Yeah.
Like still there, still solid, but just not.
If he starts in the 30s, go for it. But anything if he starts before the 20s is probably a fade for me. Chandler Smith, this is an intriguing name right now. 8,100. Any thoughts on Chandler Smith?
I put him in green just to remind me that he's in a Kyle Busch truck. Like I see him starting down here in 18th at 81, and I think he's another one like Kyle Busch, his owner, that really does good when you have practice, and he's going to have the practice this week. So I think he's definitely a top 10 driver. So, but again, if maybe he won't qualify as well, but he'll put everything together from practice and from qualifying. And once he gets to the race, he'll be able to move up.
Definitely a truck I'm looking at in practice to see how he does on 5-lap average. Next up, we have Carson Josevar at 7,600. Been racing really well. Any love for Carson?
Yeah, he's decent. I think we thought that he'd be so much better than he would be. But here, let me take this 31 out because this 31 was really early in the season. And that bumps him up a little bit. He's got his finishing position as 10th now, so that's a little bit better. Let's go back to where I was.
Well, he's changed trucks since Brett Moffitt has ditched his Nice ride. Josevar has stepped in for his truck, and we've seen some pretty good results for him.
Yeah, so Atlanta and Darlington were his two best races out of the four here that I'm using. So, and those are the ones we're looking at. So, yeah,
keep rolling them out there. 7,600.
Yeah. I mean, definitely Majeski I prefer as a better play, but yeah, we'll have to see where he starts.
Yep, we like Carson. Tyler Ankrum, 7,300. No,
he's probably the worst truck in this team that we really think is struggling. So if you add those variables together, what do you get? Fade.
Tanner Gray.
Unless he ends up starting 43rd or something. Or probably
of course.
Yeah.
Of course, as always. Tanner Gray and the DGR Crosley machine, 15th, 6,700. Not one of Mega's favorites.
What do you mean? I played him last week in cash. He was a good play.
Maybe I'm. Oh no, I'm thinking of someone else. When we get to him, I'll say it.
Okay.
I'm thinking of someone else. My bad.
No, Tanner Gray's decent. I mean, it only has him at like 12 points here, but it has him like finishing 25th. But again, this is all speculation. We need to get like the real numbers in there before we can really see. But I think his ceiling would be 15th, so he'd need to start like 20 to 25th, I think, before he'd be the one that we'd really consider. But 67 is a good price.
Agreed. Parker Klingerman, 7,900. It's not a bad price tag for Klingerman. I'm gonna make sure he starts in the 30s though, because we're gonna need 10 to 15 place differential points. I don't see him finishing inside the top 15.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually a decent truck, but
yeah, but there's not much upside in that machine.
Right. I like his running position in Atlanta, but got him finishing 22nd. So yeah, you're about right. He needs to finish probably at start like 25 to 30th.
Yep, and then there we can get some place differential points. Austin Wayne Self, 5,900 is too cheap.
I'm waiting for the country tour of Austin Wayne Self and Tommy Martin live, sponsored by.
Oh man! Hey, you're talking about music. We are in the Music City.
Yeah, there we go. Austin Wayne Self. He's on Nashville. I love that TV show, Hayden Panettiere. Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna bet him to win. I'm kidding. I like Austin Wayne Self though.
He sounds like a cowboy. Yeah,
doesn't he? Awesome. Sets up well for
him. No, the Cowboys coming up.
Oh yeah.
Lawless Allen.
We haven't even got there yet. Next up is the guy that
going back to Austin Wayne Self. Yes, I think I like the price on him. I'm okay with him. If he starts probably anywhere from 20 to 25th, I think I got him finishing 16th. I think that's definitely fair. Anywhere from 15th to 20th, he could finish. Maybe even higher. I mean, he's has some decent runs.
Next up, we have Ryan Truax, the guy I was thinking earlier when we were talking about Tanner Gray. This is not your favorite truck driver.
he just really hasn't been underwhelming. Like I said, my daughter absolutely loves his brother, and she probably will throw shade on me if I don't play him every so often. But again, we'd have to see, like, if he starts 35th or lower, I will play him at 6-4. But over some of the other guys that could end up down there. But yeah, he'd have to start way down.
Agreed. Next up, we have Haley Deegan, 5,800. She's kind of gotten she's on a level playing field with everybody else. Not many people have seen this track, and she doesn't have to worry about being the odd one out when it comes to lack of track experience.
Yeah, we'll have to see how practice went. Darlington, 19th average running position. That's very respectable for a rookie.
Right.
The 23rd at Atlanta scares me a little bit with the tire wear. So we'll just have to see. She has been very consistent for me. And again, like you said, even playing field. I think that she really and Tanner Gray's her teammates. So yeah, and look at the price, 58. Especially
58. Yeah,
yeah,
this is the
especially if they
cheapest
start.
driver we've talked about so far. So
You know what's going to happen, TK? I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. She's going to qualify like sixth.
yeah, yeah,
And
and
then
you're not going to play it.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think you start her. I don't think you play her if she starts anywhere near the top 12.
Well, actually, she was a decent cash play last week. I think she was like 6,400 or something. I think she started like 11th or 12th, and she hung on up there. So
yeah.
but again,
Well,
it's risky. Again,
yeah. Next up, we have Jack Wood, 6,100. Any thoughts?
other than he looks like he's like 12 years old when I pulled his profile picture up. He's been okay. He's only run 2 races. I think one of them was a road course, and I think the other one, he doesn't have too much experience. So, but his average running position was 20th. He's in another GMS truck. So, I don't know at all. I would take a dart on him if he starts in the 30s.
Okay. Danny Bond and Timmy Hill. Any love for either one of those racers?
Timmy Hill, yes, because he actually raced here. if it's not a starting park, yeah, he was in that race that I brought up.
Oh, cool. So we have one.
he guess what? He started 22nd. He finished 22nd.
Okay, so that's what we can
That's
expect.
the Timmy Hill thing you've ever seen.
Pretty much. So hopefully he starts 26, then we can play him, and he finishes 20th. That's kind of my hope. I don't mind him 7K. It's a little pricey for Timmy Hill, but
Bana, again, I don't think I'd consider him. He's been consistently his running position. His average running position is 27th outside of Darlington. 19.6 shows a little bit of promise there, but I'm not too excited about him.
All right, Clay Greenfield.
He's actually the 23rd is not Darlington. It's actually at Nashville was his average running position.
There you go.
So I don't know. He owns his own team. So that scares me a little bit. GPP, if he'd be the punt just because he's actually, if he can remember with this track, like after 10 years.
Right.
Yeah, and I think he had like 2 races here, so it wasn't like he'd like run this track his whole life. Maybe he's from the area or something. I'm not sure, but again, he really has had like little truck experience other than that recently.
Cool. Spencer Davis and Chase Purdy.
Okay, it all depends on where they start.
Yeah, agreed.
No objection, but no love.
Exactly. Drew Dollar, Kyle Busch Motorsport, 7,500.
Another one that looks like he's 12 years old. Love the truck. Gets a little bit of practice here, so it's definitely an intriguing play. Just really hasn't had much experience. His 26.5 is his average running position in all the races he's run in a truck. So it really doesn't tell us much.
Yeah. Ray Cicerelli was a driver that we played last week, starting in the back of the pack. He looks like he did fairly well. I did notice he only had a couple of sets of sticker tires though. So this is a one-man team, and it is definitely.
I don't even know if he qualifies.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just run so much. That's why he's got a decent average running position, but
right.
I mean, if as we look at like like we can probably just draw the line right here. Like all these
Yeah.
guys, I maybe Kraus.
Wait a minute. 4,600, Lawless Allen. We gotta build a country music lineup.
Keith McGee, Lawless Allen.
Yeah. There you go. There's got to be another one.
Jack Wood.
Yeah, Jack Wood. Exactly.
Austin Wayne South has got to be
That's the lead.
singer.
That's the lead
He's
singer.
the front man.
Jack Wood is the drummer. You're gonna have Keith McGee is the bassist and Lawless Allen is the guitarist.
Yep.
Bingo.
There we go.
It's gonna win all the money. And then hey, Trey Hutchins the third is gonna be on the what do they call it? Shoot.
The steel guitar.
The steel guitar or the banjo. Oh boy. Yeah, but this is back to the racing. Yeah, this is where we can pretty much draw the line. I'd say maybe Derek Kraus if he started in the back. But most of these guys are either going to start in park.
Decent last year. He just hasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, he's way cheap compared to what you'd pay for him last year. So.
Right. I think this is all these guys.
You got to play your boy Fogelman.
Only if he's starting last.
Only if he's starting last.
So yeah.
Watch him not qualify.
Probably. He's probably him and Keith McGee.
So,
but yeah, I mean, if you got anything else to add on the drivers in the back of the pack?
No, I just appreciate everybody watching the video this far, and I think why don't we give them a little bit of surprise here? So, since this is so weird and like we don't have a ton of like information, then I'm willing in the comments about half an hour before lock tomorrow just to throw out some of my core thoughts, just to reward the people for watching the video this far. What do you think?
Amen to that. Why not?
Yeah, so check back. When's the race start? Is it 8 o'clock tomorrow night or?
Do not have that close by.
No, I'm looking. That's up. I hit the wrong button and close you.
Yeah, 8 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah, so check back like 7:30 tomorrow night. We should have a pretty good idea of where things are, and we'll throw out some guys that we like for cash and GPP based on when we have the actual data, just as a thank you for watching it.
Absolutely. Well done, Meg. I appreciate that as well. All right. That'll conclude things for the NASCAR Truck Series for the Nashville Rackley. Oh, wow. Rackley Roofing is sponsoring. There is the ultimate kicker into the William Byron and Josh Berry thoughts for tomorrow. 150 laps. It is going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to looking at this new track and following it throughout the day. So thank you for listening in. Like and comment below, and we will get to you guys tomorrow, and looking forward to the race. Thanks.
See you.